Well, that's great because it doesn't. So how about them apples?
Asshole.
Oh!
Have a red.
Shit.
Quite a red. Quite delicious asshole. I'm just kidding. That's weird.
Too far, man.
It's weird because
Too
it's
far.
true. No, I'm just kidding.
It is not true. I do not have a red delicious asshole.
Why do you bring your computer all the time now? Did you get bored?
Because I get bored sitting here.
You don't like this, huh? You don't like to do this sort of thing?
No, I like to do this thing, but I get bored because sometimes it's longer before we get started than. There's literally been times where I've sat here for like a couple hours before we just did anything. So I started bringing my laptop so I can do stuff, and then I continued to bring it so that way when there's something that we're talking about,
You can look it up.
I can look it up real quick, and then.
I don't think we should show things anymore because they're even more. YouTube and whoever, Clement or whatever the company is, they're even more dickheads about copyright shit now.
Well, wasn't there a thing before you were talking about where if it's on the screen behind us, like in the background, then they can't really say much about that?
Well, kinda, but sometimes it still gets flagged. But
so
not all the time.
Maybe we should put up like bootleg copies of movies for people to watch while we're talking. And see if they flag that.
I feel like that's the exact opposite direction we need to go in.
Oh, okay.
You went the complete opposite way.
All right. All right.
Well, all right.
You're right.
Welcome to Jay and Mark number 38.
Hola.
I am Mark, and this is Jay.
I am.
And this is our podcast.
This is our podcast. We should we should get a song.
We do have a song. Do you watch any? Are you aware of anything we do?
No, I don't watch this shit.
It becomes
No, I'm
more
just
and more,
kidding.
more and more apparent every episode.
No, I meant like, well, you turned it into something it didn't have to be, but I was just trying to make a joke like we should, like, we're Jay and Mark, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, you mean like we should have a silly, stupid little jingle?
Yeah, but you fucked that all
I
up.
would want something more like a 90s sitcom comedy.
Like the
intro.
Saved by the Bell song?
Or like Family Matters or Full House. Like, everywhere you look, it's so hot, you know? You hit a hold on to, and like a cheesy little like montage of us like doing stuff at the park and like driving
throwing a
in
football
San
or a
Francisco.
frisbee or
Even though
driving
we're-
over a bridge.
Yeah.
I got you.
When you're lost out there, and we're like, we do something and then we look at the camera and we're just like, you know, while the song's in the background, it's
Like the scene where Uncle Jesse's like leaning and he's like,
yeah, they're all sitting on the bench joking and then they just look at the camera.
yeah, I definitely think we should do that.
That's the kind of stuff I want. I like that cheesy humor. Like
We should. That's one thing we can do before we start a podcast sometime.
we'll
just- Maybe we could even do it to that song or something. And just film each other doing a bunch of random dumb shit and put it together to that song.
Yeah,
And then that could be the opener for one of our shows.
like you ever saw that video they did? I think it was like a cable access, like late night cable access show that was based in like Cleveland or like in northeastern Ohio, and they did that. It was like a weird commercial for Cleveland, but it like pretty much just shit all over Cleveland. And it was like an advertisement for like why you should come to Cleveland, and like, but it was just making fun of Cleveland pretty much.
Purposely making fun of Cleveland,
Yeah.
or that's how it turned out.
No, that it was purposely
Oh.
like it was a joke on Cleveland. Like,
Huh. Okay.
you should look it up. That's probably something we could get away with watching. And I mean, we could watch stuff and talk about it. We just have to talk about it in a way that people can understand,
What
and they can just go watch it.
What do you think I should search for that?
Fuck, I don't even know. Like funny Cleveland infomercial or something, or funny Cleveland commercial. It's got to be. Once I see it, I'll probably be able to decipher if that's it or not. Yeah, it's right there. First thing, just click that. It'll probably show if it's hastily made Cleveland tourism video. Oh, second attempt. Do that. That might be it. I don't know, but that looks a lot like it. Now, after this word from our sponsors, in 2, 1, there we go. And this has been out for a while. I saw this years ago. I was probably in like high school when I saw this. Our main export is crippling depression.
Oh my God, that's funny.
The only thing I didn't like about that is I feel like there should have been an even longer pause and then a third, "We are Detroit!" at the end. That would have been better.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah,
No,
I can't believe you've never seen that, dude. That is like
I've never seen that.
Probably one of the first viral videos out
I
there.
was gonna say somebody's making some money off of it. It's got
over 9 million views, almost 9.5 million views. So yeah, when's the date? Scroll down.
2009.
2009, and that might be like a re-upload. You know what I mean? This might not even be the original uploader.
Wow, that's
Walter, chill it out, buddy.
9 million views. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
What is that? That's gross.
I mean,
Ew, no, I can't watch that. I love Snickers.
for the audience, obviously, you can look that up. We just typed in "funny Cleveland commercial" into YouTube, and it was the first thing that came up. But if you heard it at all through the mics, the mics picked it up. You could probably decipher what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't believe we never saw that.
Hastily made Cleveland tourism video second attempt.
Yeah, that is the exact title of the video that we watched.
Yeah. Hastily made Cleveland tourism video second attempt.
Yeah,
Second attempt.
that's right.
We're not Detroit. No, that is really funny though.
Well, you said you haven't seen the new Star Wars movie, so this probably. Well, I mean, this doesn't really spoil anything at all. But anybody that's seen it or hasn't seen it will probably find this interesting. But Mark Hamill, guy that plays Luke Skywalker,
Yes.
he was quoted recently as saying, actually, I wrote down the exact quote. I guess this is him talking to Ryan Johnson, the guy who made Episode 8, or perhaps some of the producers. I can't quite remember who he was talking about when he said this, but he said, "I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you have decided about my character."
Say that again.
Mark Hamill is quoted as saying, and it was on an ABC, a program on ABC, like a news story on ABC, and him and Daisy Ridley. He said, "I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you have decided about my character." That's what he said to Ryan Johnson, I guess, or the writers, perhaps. But he then went on to say but that might be a good thing because I was completely wrong with Episode 7. With 7, he didn't say episode. I added that. Which Episode 7 was the one right before the new one that's coming.
Right before 8.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
well, that makes sense.
No, I mean, right. But
So
it makes you wonder what that means for Luke Skywalker, especially with I'm sure if you haven't seen The Force Awakens, you didn't see the teaser trailer for The Last Jedi. You can watch it if you want, but he states in there, I didn't write down, but you don't really see Luke in the trailer. You might, like little bits of him, but you don't see him say this, but you hear in the background him say something like, "This is the end of the Jedi," or the something like that. The movie's called The Last Jedi,
right,
which everybody thought meant there's only one Jedi left and it's Rey or something. You know what I mean? But it's actually according to like the title released in other languages, it turns out that that's actually plural, which means like the last Jedi, as if many Jedi.
Right.
But with Mark Hamill saying that,
kind of
and
like
then
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, like Jedi, it's kind of like deer. Many deer are deer. Yeah, it's not. There's no difference. But yeah, it makes you wonder where Luke's going, especially knowing what they said in the trailer about like this is the end of the Jedi. Or
Maybe they're gonna make him gay.
Maybe. I doubt it.
Well, he would fundamentally disagree with that.
Maybe. I don't know. He didn't say anything yet.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's what I got about that. But it does make me wonder.
Yeah, it does make me wonder too.
Does it really? You don't give
Well,
a shit.
no, it does. It makes me wonder. It actually makes me want to go and watch it and see what it was that he did to the character.
They're good. I like them.
Yeah.
I have the first one.
Well, I've seen the first 3 that came out, which were actually, I guess, the second 3.
You saw the original trailer.
And then I can't remember
From the
the
70s and
names.
80s.
Yeah, I can't remember the names of all the newer ones, but I
the
saw
prequels, the
the
ones
first.
that took place before the one
Yeah,
about
I know I saw the first
young
one and the
Darth Vader.
second one. I'm pretty sure I saw the third one, but it was so long ago that I don't remember much about those 3.
Of the prequels?
Yeah.
Yeah, the third one is
But
probably the
anything-
best one of the 3 prequels.
Yeah, anything after that third one, I know I haven't seen.
Because the prequels were very good.
Yeah.
But so you haven't seen any of the
But
new
my
ones?
favorite was Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my god, you are such an asshole.
No, I'm just kidding.
I like the new ones. The people are divided on whether or not the new ones are good or not. Mostly because they say that the first one was The Force Awakens was kind of a rehashing of the first of the original trilogy, A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of was. There was a lot of similarities, but it also had its differences. I thought it was a good start to a new trilogy. You know what I mean? To the rest of
Right.
of that story.
No, I agree with you. If we're talking about the beginning parts of the prequels, the first 3
Oh fuck
anyway.
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the new one.
Oh,
the new
okay.
ones.
I was gonna say
Those prequels were not very good at all.
See, I thought they were okay, but
They weren't absolutely awful. They just weren't what they should have been. They could have been so much better.
right. They were the same.
They were
but
silly.
They were yes. There you go.
That's why the
Yeah.
third one seems to be the best one because it was so dark.
Yeah.
It wasn't a happy ending at all.
Yeah.
That's what made it good. The first one was basically a kids movie. The second one was a weird, poorly acted love story, and then the third one was just dark as fuck, and that made it better than the rest, even though it was still
Right.
not great.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say was I thought that it's kind of confusing. I guess the first 3 of the
prequels. Those are the
prequels. Okay,
prequels.
there you go.
It is confusing.
I thought-
That's why we have terms for them.
Right.
The prequels, the original trilogy, and then the new trilogy.
Right. I thought they were good. I didn't really think they were great, but I think that is why I didn't really continue on watching any of the ones after that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, the new ones are way better than those.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the originals, but they're a good successor.
I really should sit down and just watch them all again, because obviously the original 3 I loved.
Me and Emily actually did that right before the new ones came out.
Yeah, and like I said, the prequels I liked. I didn't love them. I liked them, and then anything after those, I didn't really. I just haven't had the desire to watch. And I know I've heard several people say, how good some of them are, which makes me want to go and watch them again. But, well, I guess not again, for the first time. And then it's just, I don't know. I haven't seen them.
Well, what's cool now is for the casual Star Wars fan, they have these one-off movies, like Rogue One. It's called Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. You watched the trailer. We watched the trailer for it. Back when they were coming out.
Right.
And it's just one movie, and it leads right into the first movie of the original trilogy, and you've seen the original trilogy, and so you'd probably get a lot out of that one, and I think you'd like it a lot. It very much has the Star Wars feel.
Does it have Jar Jar Binks?
Original Star Wars feel? Fuck no, it doesn't.
I'm just kidding.
And like I said, it leads you right into the first movie. So like by the end, you're totally like, wow, I kind of want to watch the original trilogy now.
Right.
And it's cool. I liked it. A lot of people were really weird about the way they did that, but a lot of people weren't a fan of how it just kind of goes right into there.
Well, but
certain things they did, but man, it was good. And Darth Vader's fucking in it.
I was gonna say, but they kind of had to do that, right? Because it was the prequel leading up to those three.
Well, what that story is it's basically the opening crawl of the first movie. That shit that scrolls at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like that's the plot of Rogue One. That's what it is. It's the rebel spies getting the plans to know how to destroy the Death Star. That's what it is. It's basically like a spy espionage sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Built in Star Wars world.
Right.
That actually has to do with the main Star Wars plot. That's what's cool about it. Like, it adds so much more to that original Star Wars movie. Like, it gives it so much more urgency and so much more, like, meaning and reason.
Right.
Come on, man. Come on.
No, I got you. I know what you're saying. Maybe we should binge watch all of them.
We can. Do a like, what, 6... No, I guess that would be, like, 12 hours at this point if we... Okay, if each movie is 2 hours, and there's 7 movies...
14 hours.
That's 14 hours, yeah. We could do a 14-hour stream.
What?
Live reaction.
Where?
Or maybe
in the world?
That would be 7 movies. We could do one every night of the week.
All right. When do you want to come over?
Do it here, man. It's the fucking easiest place. You want me to take all this shit over there? Fuck that. Why do you think I have all this?
Oh, wait. We're going to podcast while we do it?
What do you think I meant by live stream or stream?
Oh, I missed that part.
What did you think?
I just thought we were going to binge watch them.
You missed it, so I guess that makes sense. But, yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't have them all bought. I have them all
but
like,
at my house we can watch it in 4K.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we still can't do a quality stream. I think you're missing the point. You can just watch them at your house by yourself.
Well, yeah, but if I have questions...
But if we're going to live stream, it's a big pain in the ass to do it at your house when everything is here and set up and ready to go.
Let's do it through Skype. You watch it here, I'll watch it there. And we'll Skype each other.
I guess, but that's like doing it in a not as good a way.
No.
When all you have to do is do this right now.
Yeah, but I can't sit in this chair for 14 hours.
We're not doing it for 14 hours. We're doing it for 2 hours every night for 7 days. We're watching a movie a night for a week. That's what we're doing.
I'll just watch it and we'll talk about it.
Nobody listens to me. Yeah, just watch it. And then we can have a discussion about it, I guess.
Fine. I'll watch it.
You won't.
Are they on Netflix, any of them?
No.
Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to have to actually go to a video store and rent them.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
You were 38 years old. You grew up. You spent most of your life probably. Well, maybe not most of it, but a good portion of your life before the internet.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to see a damn movie that you want to see?
Your screen just went off. Well, yes and no. Fine. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I would imagine those are probably in the cheap section, though, so I could probably just go to the video store and rent them for like $1.
The Star Wars movies?
Sure.
You're fucking crazy. Those things are expensive as fuck. They're the Star Wars movies.
But if I'm
essentially Disney movies
not
now.
if I'm going to start all the way in the beginning.
What is that? Okay, so you think the original trilogy is cheaper than...
Oh, for sure.
Dude, they're all fucking movies. Like, they're all...
Well, I know, but Family Video. They have that whole section of like really old movies.
Oh,
And you can literally go over there and pick one out for like $1 and rent it for $1.
yeah, but a lot of those movies aren't like huge, popular, like box office hit movies. Some of them might be.
Not anymore.
But no. What do you mean not anymore? Once a movie's a box office hit, it's always a box office hit. If it was a hit at the box office,
is Titanic
it's
a box office hit right now? No, but it used to be.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
But is it right now?
Right now, it's not the box office, the hit at the box office.
Boom.
But it is a box office hit. If it's not at the box office, it can't be a box office hit at the moment.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Are you saying that the highest grossing movie of all time isn't a box office hit?
I'm saying that it is at the time, but then 15 years later, it's not a box office hit.
All right. So if somebody wins the championship and nobody beats him, is he still the champion?
Yes.
Okay. If you're the highest grossing movie of all time and nothing's grossed higher than that,
which
you
at
are
this
still the
point
champion.
is, I believe, Avatar, and
I don't know. I'll look
so
it up.
that's knocked out the Titanic, which I was actually talking about.
I'm going to look up highest grossing movies of all time.
Me too.
Well, you could probably do it faster. You have a keyboard. Because I think Titanic was beat a while back. And Avatar might have been beat as well. Because like most movies make billions now. Worldwide, 2014. That doesn't make sense. Gone with the Wind's #1.
Well, they're saying highest grossing films adjusted for inflation. So for the time that when it was made or when it came out, that's what it would have been if it were.
So if this would have came out today and it did that well today, this is what it would have been like.
Right.
So Gone with the Wind,
$3 billion
is #1 at $3 billion.
$3.4 billion.
Avatar is #2 at $3 billion. Star Wars, which I guess the first one,
$2.8 billion.
$2.8 billion, and for Titanic, $2.5 billion. That's crazy.
Well, shit. Looks like I was right.
How is that right?
Because I said Avatar was the highest.
Oh yeah, that's right. But it says actually when it comes down to it, this is not adjusted for inflation. This is the numbers. Avatar's #1. Titanic is 2. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is #3. Jurassic World is #4. The Avengers, the original Avengers movie, is #5. Fast and Furious 7 is #4. Age of Ultron is
And I think that Furious 7, I think that's only because that's when, isn't that when...
Furious 7 is 6. Avengers Age of Ultron is 7.
Isn't that when the dude passed away in the car accident? So that's probably why that was number...
Yeah, that was... I mean, not to be insensitive, but that was a huge fucking promotion.
Why can't I think of his name?
In a way. But yeah. I forget why we got into that. But now people know. The highest grossing movies of all time, I guess.
It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see if they had another category here and it showed how much it cost to make that movie. You know what I mean?
That would be cool. You could probably look it up independently. Just by like open another tab, be like Avatar. What was the production cost?
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. I guess to
on a sillier note, there's been a debate going on for quite a few years now.
Wow, back in 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, if it were released now in today's time or whatever.
It would be at #10 with $1.8 billion.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't know if that's true. Because the market's different nowadays. Most movies are aimed for adults and not children. Back then, movies were kind of seen as a kid's thing. In 1937, that was like the beginning.
Right.
Most people couldn't even see movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm no expert. What the fuck do I know? But like I said, there's been a debate going on for a while. Not to just so drastically change subjects, but I started a couple minutes ago.
There's been a what going on?
A debate
Master?
going on for quite a few years now.
A what?
A debate.
Master?
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
Come on, that's funny.
It is, but it threw me off. Pineapple on pizza. What do you think?
No.
No?
Nope, I'm not a fan of pineapple.
I'm not a fan of pineapple. I like pineapple, but I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza. But I don't. People think it's straight up disgusting, and like it's a heated topic.
Well, I find it interesting that when you put the pineapple on pizza, they usually call it a Hawaiian pizza. But I remember reading a thing before where
Do pineapples grow
in Hawaii, they don't actually put pineapple on pizza.
Do pineapples grow in Hawaii? Is that their native land?
I don't know. Let's Google that.
Google that shit. 'Cause I wonder what makes it Hawaiian. Like, it's pineapple and ham usually, right? On a Hawaiian pizza? So, is that like a Hawaiian thing? Because I know they put pineapples, like rings, on ham when they bake hams or cook hams, right? Are you even listening to me?
No, I'm not. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Is that a Hawaiian thing? When they put pineapple on ham when they make it, when they bake hams or cook hams?
Do they put pineapple on hams when they bake them? Yes.
No. Is that a Hawaiian thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yes.
They are native to Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay.
You still find Hawaiian pineapple in abundance, but not sure about their status as an export crop. Interesting. Which brings up another thing. Do you think in Canada they call Canadian bacon just bacon?
I don't know.
Okay.
That is a good question.
I agree.
If you woke up tomorrow and had Superman's powers, what would you do?
Oh, man.
Say it into the microphone.
If I woke up tomorrow and had Superman's powers, what would I do?
Yeah. Like, tell me how
I would
you'd go
kick
about
on that
that.
X-ray vision like that.
Why? Well, first off, you have to
really?
think about this realistically. Think about it like legitimately. How would you would you even know that you had X-ray vision? How would you just click it on? You wouldn't know how to do any of this shit.
You're right. I probably wouldn't know how to do it, but
You wouldn't even know what was going on.
if I woke up, okay. So, then how would I know that I woke up with his powers?
Because you started realizing you're having all these powers. What I'm saying is you wouldn't even know how to control these powers or what these powers are doing. Like you would have a lot of questions. You wouldn't just be like, "Oh, I have Superman's powers." You'd just be like, "This crazy shit's happening to me. What is this?
Oh.
Why am I able to see through walls and shit? Why am I fucking breaking everything I touch a little too firmly? You know, like why?"
Right. Okay.
Like, this is what I'm saying, like, for real. Not like if you woke up.
Not being silly, just okay. So if I woke up,
this is a legitimate question.
I don't know, because if I didn't realize it right away, and I just realized that I would probably be a little bit freaked out at first. If I'm being serious, I'd be a little bit freaked out, because the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, after I pee,
I guess
is I go down.
I guess that's a good start. Like,
I go down and I grab a coffee cup and make my coffee. So, like, if I grabbed my cup and just didn't know my own strength or whatever and just smashed my cup, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
At first, I'd be like, what the fuck? What happened to my cup?
Right. And then I'd grab another one and then probably do the same thing. And then I'd be like, okay, I don't need coffee that bad. or I would ask Jen to make me some coffee and then put a straw in it or something.
Yeah. Put a straw in it.
And then, like, a couple weeks down the road when I realized, okay, I'm developing all these really crazy powers. If I realized that it was Superman powers, then I would go to the X-ray thing and be like, how do I click this on? So my next step would be Google.
Google, you start Googling.
I'd be like, how do I activate my X-ray powers?
Let's go ahead and assume that. Let's just say that Superman doesn't exist in this. We're just using the term Superman's powers.
Okay.
As like these are the powers you have to have the discussion about. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like we can't like go look up Superman or read comics and be like, well, how did Superman deal with this?
Right.
And blah blah blah. Like this is something brand new, never experienced. Like there may be superhero comics and stuff, but like it's not what we're like. They're not that prominent to the fact that we're going to be like, okay, this is like,
right.
You know, and like just I stole this from another podcast I listened to, and I was like, this is interesting, and like I wonder if Jared would have some interesting things to say about it. But I heard this on another podcast, and it raised some questions for me, and I wanted to get your opinion on.
Well,
but
there.
I mean, think about all the things that Superman
right.
can do.
Really,
he's got X-ray vision. He's got heat vision.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he has X-ray vision. He can fly. He has super strength. He has the weakness of kryptonite. I guess we should figure out whether or not. I mean, maybe kryptonite isn't your weakness, but you do have a weakness, and it's something. Let's say that it's something like, if you're close to it, it hurts you, and your powers are diminished. You know what I mean?
Like high voltage wires.
Whether I'm just to keep it away from Superman, like to keep it in that more like Superman doesn't exist in this discussion.
That's a really good question because
you do have that kryptonite factor involved with your powers, is what I'm saying.
Right. It's actually a really good question, I guess, because
I mean, it kind of is a realistic question. What if an alien came down, or you were abducted by aliens, and this was bestowed upon you?
Right. Well, if you're just discovering that you have all these weird powers and you can do all these weird things, and then all of a sudden you put your arms in the air and you take flight, I mean, that would probably scare the shit out of me right off the bat.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why am I going 100 miles an hour straight up into the air? And how do I get back down without smashing my head into the ground?
Well, how would you even discover that you have the power of leaping? You would probably have to jump or something, and when you realize that, you jumped a lot higher than you would have normally. You know,
right?
Maybe.
I joined the Olympics.
I mean, I think that's actually how Superman discovered that he could fly. Is he started out, he could jump really high and far distances, and I think it evolved into him like being able to like use that as that feat of strength and keep himself in the air and actually fly. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know the details, but I know that like that's kind of how it evolved. I forgot where I was going.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I think it'd be awesome, but I don't know what I would do with it.
Well, I mean, would you... I like to think I would use the powers for good. I'm sure you probably would think that as well.
Yeah, except for the X-ray. That would be kind of...
Would you keep this a secret, or would you be a superhero?
No, I would absolutely keep it a secret.
You would?
Oh, for sure. Because the government, as soon as they find out, they're locking your ass up and they're studying the shit out of you.
I wouldn't just...
And your whole life is just gone.
I wouldn't just let it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think the smart thing is to keep it a secret. I mean, I would use a lot of it as an advantage in life.
Oh,
obviously.
For sure. Oh, here's another one. Once I figured out the whole X-ray vision thing.
I knew you were going back to that.
What?
The X-ray vision thing. Go for it.
I'm going to Vegas.
And
I'm playing some poker.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't push it. I'd use it to help myself to get by and whatnot, and maybe like alleviate a lot of problems I have, but I wouldn't do it in like a negative way or like push it too far or take advantage of that. I wouldn't go too far with it. You know what I mean? I'd use it to my advantage within reason, without hurting people and whatnot.
Well, no, I wouldn't use it to hurt people, but I would definitely use it to my advantage.
I wouldn't take advantage of people. I would take advantage of the system.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's the more sort of thing I would do. I'd be kind of like Robin Hood in a sense, like taking from the rich and giving to the poor. The people who are scamming me, I'm going to scam them right back.
Yeah.
You know, like, the house isn't always going to win with me, I guess, if you're going to do the Vegas thing.
Right.
But, something they brought up on the podcast, this was on the Game Over Greggy show on Kind of Fun, if anybody wonders. If you're a fan of them, or maybe I'm going to push some people to be a fan of them now, and want to get their opinion on it.
It is a cool show.
They did it recently on their show, and that's what inspired this. But so I'm not trying to steal it. I guess I did steal it, but I wasn't like doing it. I was using my powers for good here. But they one of the things they brought up was the fact that they would immediately go to like a hospital, and then the one producer guy suggested that or production guy suggested that you probably shouldn't go to a hospital. You should go to a place like Berkeley or like a high university or something to figure this sort of thing out. But he would go to them and be like, first off, I just want to find out, is this X-ray vision and stuff I'm using, is this giving people cancer? You know what I mean? Like, the guy who said it, Greg Miller, he actually had cancer. So, of course he would think that.
Right.
But, I mean, that's shit you don't think about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck, is Superman giving people cancer by doing this sort of thing? Or, like, is there kind of some weird repercussion from me using heat vision? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I guess if you're capable of doing it, and it's not, I mean, it's Superman.
Right.
Or you're essentially Superman. It's like an evolutionary trait. You're probably totally capable of doing that shit for however long you need to. But I just imagine heat vision would hurt. Right? If you're spewing out like heat rays and it's burning other people, wouldn't it like
hurt them or hurt you?
Me.
Well, no, because your body
has adapted to that sort of thing, I guess.
Right. I mean, you're Superman.
Well, I mean, does it hurt?
You probably got super eyes.
Does it hurt Wolverine? Wolverine always said it hurt when the fucking claws came out. But, I mean,
I don't know.
He just had regeneration factor, and I don't know. Let's not get into Wolverine. But it is an interesting topic. I think I would keep it a secret. I would try to help in situations that I knew about if I could. You know what I mean? Like if I was walking in the street and something was going on, I would help, but I would try to make it seem as normal as possible.
Right.
Or I would probably have like a secret identity where I did stuff. I would do like a vigilante type deal, like superhero vigilante type thing probably, but I would keep it on the down low. Yeah,
well, going back to what you said about him going to some hospital or like a university or something, even there I think it would get back, and again you're dealing with the government. I wouldn't even go there. I would just try and figure the shit out, or find somebody that I knew I could trust, somebody super smart, maybe whoever that I knew I could trust.
Yeah.
And just go from there. I wouldn't. No, I don't think I would go to university or go, see somebody like that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't just go to any random person. I would obviously feel the person out first. And, like, I would go to someone who would specialize in something like that. You know what I mean? And would, like, understand the urgency for secrecy.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to be dumb. Especially if this is actually happening to you, you're going to think about it very, very critically.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when this sort of thing is happening to you that you don't really understand. But I'm going to want a lot of answers, too. I'm not going to know what the fuck is going on with me. So I'm going to need to tell someone.
Well, and like you said, because it's not something that you were born with and you
Somebody
grew up.
has to be on your side if shit does go south for you.
Right.
When it comes to the government or some sort of super villain or something.
What I'm saying is, I mean, it's not something that, as you were growing up, from, a child, you realized, oh, I can lift this car. Oh, I can burn through that metal.
You just woke up one day and
I
it
can
was like,
see through that wall, or that's neat. Not. And as a kid, it's one of them things where if you're doing that, you're not realizing or registering in your head that I'm the only one that can do this. You just think that it's normal.
No, a kid.
You wake up one day and all of a sudden you have this stuff and you're like,
this isn't normal.
Yeah,
this is a ginormous difference in your life.
I would probably think I were in some sort of alternate dimension or still sleeping.
Oh yeah,
I'd be like, no, this is obviously a
At
dream.
first, you would be questioning your sanity and or whether you're conscious.
But then again, if you woke up and you were like, no, this is just a dream. And so all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to go fly to the store. And you fly to the store because you realize, or you're thinking that it's just a dream and there's really no consequences.
And then somebody sees you.
Well, and then you fly to the store, and because
you think it's a dream, you just land, walk in all nonchalantly.
Yeah, and all of a sudden everything's just
everybody's
lining
looking
up and
at
working
you.
fine. And you just know how to do it because subconsciously something in your brain is saying, okay, this is what you got to do. Okay, now slow down because you're coming in for your landing. Okay, get ready to run because you're about to hit the ground. And then, you see what I'm getting at?
Kind of. You're saying like if this is like a parallel universe type deal, like they hit each other and like you subconsciously already know this because you're like one collective consciousness type deal.
Yeah.
And so
you would
just kind of already, you're like, I don't know how I know how to do all this, but I
exactly.
do.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking to yourself, how did I know how to do that?
Like if it was a movie, that plot would unfold, and by the end of the movie, you'd find out like, oh, he knows how to do all this because he does do all this in another life. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I gotcha. No, I do. I feel you. It's kind of like that plot.
God, I want to wake up with
Smallville.
superpowers.
I think that was Hawk Girl's whole plot in Smallville. Like, this Hawkman came and found her and was like totally in love with her. Like, they had been together forever. Like, I'm your boyfriend type deal. And she had no recollection of him because she was a reincarnated version of Hawk Girl from the past. And they always find each other in the next life, you know what I mean? And then they fall in love and they do their Hawkman, Hawk Girl thing together in all these past lives up into this. Well, she was dating somebody on the show. I can't remember who it was. And he kept coming to her as like, no, like, this is you. And she could like do these things and she didn't know why. You know what I mean? And then he came to her one day basically like, look, we're in all of our past lives, we find each other and fall in love again. And this is what it is and shit. So essentially that is the plot of Hawk Girl on the CW Smallville.
Interesting.
If I remember correctly. That's pretty damn close. See? Wow. But yeah. Anything else you could think of that's crazy like that?
Well, while you were saying that, and then I don't know if you could tell that I was thinking, but
oh yeah.
While you were saying that, I started thinking, okay, what if you think of superpowers as like what people are actually able to do? Like, just as an example, and people have asked me before, like construction, remodeling, fixing things. I'm really good at doing that sort of stuff. And I honestly don't know why or how I learned how to do that. It was just something I always knew how to do, and I got into that field.
Like maybe in a past life you were a carpenter.
Well, maybe. But and then
maybe that's why people have such fascinations with certain things, because in past lives they loved that sort of thing and they did that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And then like for you, for example, you're really good with like electronics and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's not something that I could sit down and just do. So maybe that's your superpower. You can.
Oh, I gotcha. So like people's talents are kind of in a sense like superpowers, because
they're
people where it just comes naturally to them.
Right.
That's
like a doctor. I mean,
skill
honestly,
is a superpower.
Right.
Natural skill.
Like doctors save lives, superheroes save lives. You know.
No, that's a cool way to think about it. I never thought of it like that. Like we all kind of do have superpowers when we all have this.
Just got real itchy. I wonder if that's a superpower side effect.
Perhaps.
I gotta take my boot off. Sorry.
Those boots are made for walking. That's probably why they're itchy, because you're not walking. But that's just what they'll do.
That is true.
But you got to be careful, though, because one of these days, those boots, they're going to fucking walk all over you, bro.
They might. Come on, Boots.
It makes me want to watch Austin Powers.
Oh.
I haven't seen those movies in forever. I should rewatch them. I wonder if they hold up. I guess they probably weren't that good to begin with. I was just really young, and they were very perverted and funny. They were PG-13, weren't they? Yeah, so that was kind of like right around my... They were kind of geared towards me, the Austin Powers movies, my age range, kind of. Like the 13 to 18 area.
I just thought of another one.
You're not even listening to me.
Yeah, I am. Austin Powers, age range, PG.
Oh, wow. Touche.
like Emily, for example, she's a really great artist. So what if she just decided one day to draw a picture just out of her brain? Sorry, I'm dealing with my itchy
Let's say, what
foot.
if you just decided one day to talk into the fucking microphone?
So, what if she decided to sit down and draw this picture, and just whatever came to mind, and she just starts putting it down on paper, and then however long later, all of a sudden it's some sort of almost like a premonition of,
Like
something
she draws
she saw
the
before.
future.
Yeah.
Like the guy from Heroes.
Yeah.
He painted the future.
Yeah.
He painted the future.
So that technically could be like a superpower.
Technically, that would be if you did it. Yeah. That would be a superpower. You could see the future.
Yeah.
Through premonitions.
Yeah.
Premonitions.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things now.
But that's not a Superman power though. That would if you had a Superman's powers, that would help you a lot in life, dude.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You wouldn't have to have a car. You wouldn't need transportation. You wouldn't spend money on gas. You wouldn't.
That is true.
Need. You could go anywhere you wanted to in a matter of minutes, probably. You can move. Everything you could do faster, with more precision. You could. You could fuck like crazy.
You could do that too.
I mean, there's always that idea of would Superman ejaculating, would that just blow right through the girl?
And I don't know, maybe
like a shotgun.
But with Superman being able to move really fast, that means that time around him would move even slower. So technically, he's kind of seeing the future.
Yeah, there's actually it was Superman versus the Flash to see who was faster, and I'm pretty sure the Flash won.
Well, he's the Flash.
I can't remember the story.
But can the Flash run to outer space?
Probably.
I doubt it.
If he can run to outer space if he has something to launch out. Like if there's a building, maybe if he runs fast enough up the building, he'll have enough speed to reach space. But can
he fly around up there and then come back?
I don't know.
No. I don't think he can.
I'm going to call him. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
I can't. He's not a real person.
You know who might know?
Superman.
You want me to call him?
Sure, I guess.
All right, I'll call him.
You don't know Superman.
I do know Superman. Hold on.
Are you actually calling somebody?
Yeah, I'm going to call Superman.
Don't call Superman.
No.
Because I know it's not actually Superman.
It is Superman. Hold on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's in store for us right now, but I apologize in advance. Well, the anticipation is killer. I don't think he's going to answer, Superman.
Yeah, he's flying around space.
He might not have a good signal. He might be above.
Sorry, I called Seth Rogen by mistake.
Yeah, I remember that when Eric Andre put his fucking phone number up on his show.
Damn it!
I wonder if that was set up and he knew about it. I don't think it was. Eric Andre's good like that, but you never know. They're clever. I guess we can move on from that.
I like that topic though because it makes you think.
It is cool. I feel like we should apply it to more. We could apply it to way more things. I just can't think of them right now.
If you missed it, I said I like that topic because it makes you think. But I was down here.
What the fuck? I can't remember what I was going to say. What do you think happens to you when you die, sir? This is something I wrote down a while ago. And I never got to ask it.
Well, that's a very tough question.
I mean, you can look at this from many different... I mean, there's stories for different religions about what happens, but like, what do you think happens?
Okay.
When people die?
A lot of people,
if anything at all.
A lot of people disagree with my thoughts on this. And are you sure you want to get into this? Because this could take us to the end of the podcast.
I mean, we can go to the end of the podcast. I just have one more thing I want to mention at the end, and
okay. I
don't even know if I'm ready to mention that yet. So
the other
go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I think when you die,
I'll get to that when we get there.
This comes back to my ideas on religion and God and heaven and hell, but it also relates to dimensions and space. So, my thought, when you die, I believe that our bodies have energy, which would be our spirit. I believe that our spirits are energy. So,
I better sit back for this one.
Yeah, just get comfy. I believe that when we die, that energy leaves our body, and I do believe that there is a heaven. I do believe there's a hell. I don't believe them to be, in the biblical sense.
You don't think they're exactly as the Bible describes?
I think that heaven and hell...
You call them heaven and hell because that's the easiest way for people to understand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I believe heaven and hell to be totally different dimensions than what we live in currently. I believe that all around us are different dimensions all the way around us. And I believe that that's why sometimes we can see and hear things, because there's constantly doors and portals and things opening up around us constantly. I think that when you go to heaven, or when you die and your body or your soul leaves your body, that energy crosses over into another dimension. And I believe that as energy, we can go back and forth between these dimensions. Some people would consider it heaven. Some people would consider hell. Some people consider our life right now on earth hell. But I think that when you die, your energy basically goes it just goes out into the world, or not the world. It goes out and into other just a whole nother dimension,
into the ether.
Right. Just like,
I guess I don't really understand what people mean by the ether.
Well,
I guess I just feel like that's kind of the in between, the after that stage in which everything is known.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, and that's. And I'll say about what I'll say about that is, I believe.
You keep going. I'm gonna look up the word ether, other than like the shit that people use.
Okay, I think that when you die and your spirit leaves your body, you could either choose to stay here on Earth as just energy, or like some people say, when they come back, basically, like there's people that have said that they've died for, whatever reason, and then they came back.
Yeah.
I think that
near death experiences and shit like that.
Yeah, I think when they describe that light that they see, I think that is the opening to this other dimension that they're seeing, where they cross, quote unquote, cross over to whether it be heaven or hell or purgatory or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also think that those people that don't go towards the light, their energy just stays maybe not trapped here on Earth, but here on Earth in this dimension. So, like, I know for myself, I've seen things, I've felt things, I've heard things before, and I think, honestly, and I think that's why the whole ghost thing doesn't scare me, because I think that spirit energy that is around me that I'm hearing and seeing and experiencing every once in a while is, whether it's somebody that I know or knew, or, you know, like a family member that's passed or whatever, I think that when you die, you either stay here or you can choose to cross over and go to the light and, you know, either go to heaven to be judged, or, well, I guess purgatory maybe, whatever, wherever it is that you get judged. And then God says, no, you sucked at life, you're going to hell. And that's where you go. Or you stay there. That's my thought.
So it's like that old saying, death is another part of life. But you're saying there's like a decision there on whether or not you want to stay in this plane of existence in like spirit form or something, and that explains like ghosts and shit like that.
Yeah.
Or you want to move on to another plane of existence, whether it be heaven and there's judgment, and they basically take a look at your life and be like, look, do you deserve the rewards of paradise, or do you deserve eternal damnation, I guess, is what most people describe it as, which I think is like such a grim, meaningless way of doing things. The whole judgment and like you're going to be eternally damned. Like, I know there's a lot of shitty fucking people in the world, but if there's another plane of existence where it basically oversees the world, you know what I mean?
Right.
And people, and then judges them in the end and says, you deserve to be here. They're obviously like our creators and we're like their pets in a way, you know what I mean?
Right.
And which means they're like more intelligent than us. Like it just seems it's meaningless in a way like that. Like who, if that's how it is, obviously nothing we do here fucking matters. So if you did something shitty here, it's really not that big of a deal there. So like, what's with eternal damnation?
Right. Well,
you know.
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to like burst your bubble. You're
No.
not even necessarily saying all that I just said.
Right.
But
no, I think
that's what I don't get about the whole heaven and hell thing. Like, this place is shitty, and you made it shitty, and you made it possible to be shitty. So who are you to fucking say that I deserve to go to hell and be damned for eternity? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but at the same time, I don't exactly agree with that. I think that, well, okay.
I'm not saying that like shitty people don't deserve to have shitty consequences. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you went and you killed fucking people while you were here, and then you went to heaven and they said you deserve to go to hell, you do deserve to go to hell for
Right.
sure. But what I'm saying is, who are you to say that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, looking at not you, looking at the person who's judging us, like
God.
Especially when you made this, you could have made none of that possible.
Right.
You know what I mean? If all this is actually how it is, why?
And if we're gonna
because
go,
God gave us free will. You know
exactly. If we're gonna talk about that part of it,
if that's the case,
it also talks about in the Bible is predetermination, where certain people are predetermined to go where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because even though we have technically free will, according to the Bible, God already knows the decisions we're going to make, and God already knows where we're going to end up, and God already knows when we're going to die, how we're going to die. You know what?
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case at all.
Well, I don't know if any of this is how it is, honestly. But
I think that I do think that there's something out there that created all of this. I think that whether it's God or whether it's aliens or whether it's whatever.
No, I agree with that. I think it's ignorant and stupid to think that this came from nowhere.
Right.
Like this just like it had to come from somewhere.
Right.
Even people who the whole Big Bang had to have happened for it wasn't the beginning. Something caused this Big Bang, even though the Big Bang is improperly named because there's no fucking air and space for sound waves to travel and blah 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 blah.
Well, now we're getting way scientific, but
essentially it's just to describe the act of what happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's more to a Big Bang than sound. Anyway,
but the Bible, if you follow what the Bible says, it's not even about the Big Bang. It's about creation, and God created the heavens and the earth. And
it's unlikely that something didn't cause all this.
Right.
Whether it be an intelligent, being or some crazy reaction scientifically or with physics.
Right.
Quantumly. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Something happened.
Well,
and I don't necessarily think whatever the occurrence of the Big Bang was the beginning. It may have been the beginning of us.
Yeah.
But I think there's a prequel story there.
I think when they
and where
built
is all this
Hadron
happening?
Collider and they started smashing all these atoms together and proving that the Big Bang is what created all of this, it kind of takes the Bible out of it. And in a way, it kind of scares me to think about that because growing up, we were taught one thing, and it was the Bible. But as an adult, learning more of the science behind everything, you realize that can't be the case. It can't be that.
Well, it's not that it can be. It's just highly unlikely.
There you go. I guess that's a better way to put it. It's highly unlikely that somebody sitting out wherever he's sitting went, I'll call you Earth.
Like he's playing with Play-Doh.
Yeah.
It's a little
You're
kid
in
his room. And we're tiny organisms.
Okay, we're going to call you the sun.
For people listening to the audio, he's acting as if he's rolling Play-Doh up into planets and placing them, and then he like, I don't think he did this part, but he should have pretended like he dipped it into some alcohol or something, and then lit one on fire as if it was the sun.
Yeah, that probably would have been even better. But I guess the point I'm getting at, to use your words, it's highly unlikely that we're just somebody's science experiment that has lasted in our reality, in our time, for billions of years.
Well, no, I don't think that's highly unlikely. I think it's highly unlikely that we're here just by chance. I mean, even according to like like math and shit, like the chances are pretty fucking astronomical that we are here just by chance. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What are the odds? But I think it's unlikely the whole idea of there not being some sort of, whether not necessarily creation, but some act that made all of this happen, whether it be, a god
right.
or whatever you want to call it, or
right. And I agree with you. And I think
nothing's. I think aliens creating us, or things happening by chance, or a fucking pig man coming down and farting us into existence is all just as crazy as they're all crazy.
I agree.
And they're all possible.
I think that they're all crazy ideas. I don't know that Wolfman could fart us into existence.
Pigman.
So I'm gonna
Pigman.
I'm sorry, Pigman can fart us into existence. So I'm gonna push that one to the side. But
I mean, none of them are crazier than the other.
right.
I mean, some of them are more likely,
Right.
but some of them, none of us know, and we're never gonna know until they tell us, whoever it is, or it
Right.
happens again, or
we
die and we find everything out.
Right. Well, let me go back. I agree that I don't think that all of this just started from nothing. Something had to do something else to create this, to create that, for this to evolve into whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just growing bigger and bigger, and we're here, and whatever is out here, and now we've evolved from trying to figure out how to create fire, and to now we can literally go like that.
This whole conversation is a good representation of what we're actually talking about, because this conversation started as what happens when you die. It evolved and turned into this whole big conversation of where we came from to the beginning, which I guess is kind of, we went full circle.
Right.
Like how did we went from, but backwards. We went full circle, but backwards.
Yeah.
Because we went from what happens when you die to how did we fucking get here in the first place. I
Yeah.
guess where you need to start before you figure out what happens when you die is how did you fucking get here in the first place?
Well, how did I get here in the first place? I think that...
Well, I'm not asking you that. I'm saying that's where we got to.
Oh, okay.
But because that's what we were already talking about, how we got here in the first place.
Okay. So I think...
Are you following this at all?
Have
you been here?
Yes, and I am following this. And I think that... The
cat just fell off the fucking chair. That was hilarious.
I think that something had to, for lack of a better term, something had to seed this planet. Whether it started out as a tiny little invisible microscopic whatever, over billions of years evolving into whatever, and then eventually turning into us. I think that something had to create that. I don't think that you can make something from nothing. I don't think that I can just look at my hand and go, create that. Create what I want you to create.
Well, you can't, but maybe something that has the know-how and the capability can.
But there's nobody on this planet that can do that. So it would have to be some sort of creator. But I don't know that creator is some long white-haired, bearded man, long bearded.
We get it, God.
Yeah. I don't know that it's like, because the Bible talks about God being like us. He made us in his image. So the Bible is saying that God is like us. We are like God.
That's how we interpret it. For all we know, God made us in his image in a sense that like we are bipedal creatures. You know what I mean? We stand upright, we walk.
Right.
Like So
what's to say that God isn't just... I know you already said you don't agree that it could have been aliens, but...
I didn't say I don't agree.
Oh, I thought you did.
I said that's just as crazy as God doing it.
No, you're right. That is what you said. So what's to say that it wasn't some billions of years ago?
Who's to say it's not the same fucking thing?
What?
God and aliens.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So... That's
where I thought you were going with it.
Maybe it's not God, but it's gods. It's...
like Greek mythology.
It's like a billion-year-old civilization that was far more advanced than we will ever be in the next billion years. And that's why
That's why what?
That's why we'll never quite understand any of this, because we're nowhere near as advanced enough to know or to even guess and come anywhere close.
We aren't even capable
to the actual answer
of understanding it yet.
Right.
I got you.
But I think that
it might be right fucking in front of us this whole time, and we just can't even see it because we can't even comprehend it.
And it could be a whole nother dimension that's right here around us.
For all we know.
Where as soon as we die and our energy leaves our body and we cross into this other dimension, we're going to go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly...
So this is what we were trying to figure out? Okay.
No, well, that leads me into what I thought. This isn't exactly what I believe. You use the word believe a lot. I'm the first one to tell you that I don't fucking know, and this is just kind of the best idea I can come up with at this point at my almost 30 years of life. And I don't even think this is like the best idea. I just think this is a cool thing to think about. But like, and it's along the lines of where you were just talking. But and I think I've said it before on the show. I feel like when you die, you kind of just wake up where in a very familiar place, and you kind of just got to recollect, and it kind of all just like comes back to you. And you're just like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. That's why none of this shit made sense, because it wasn't supposed to fucking make sense. Mm-hmm. It was like almost like you were in a simulation or like a video game, or you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I read a book, and it was like a bunch of, in a sense, it was like a short stories book, but it was a bunch of different theories put together, and as a book with different chapters. Was about a different like science or like physics, not necessarily theories, but just like philosophical questions and shit like that. You know what I mean? That had to deal with like really profound existential shit. And one of them was like the brains in a vat theory, where what if we're all just a bunch of brains in jars or vats and like liquid in a warehouse somewhere, and we're all hooked up to computers, and this is all just in our fucking brain. This is just what we're seeing through our brain. Like, we don't have eyes and stuff. We're in our...
Like, we are the computer system.
Like, the computer system is like powering it and pumping this world into it, and we're just living in it. It's consciously. You know what I mean? Our consciousness is living in this world. You know? Like,
so the computer system is the motherboard. We are the hard drive that holds the information and all the experiences and everything that's going on.
No, I think it's more like we are the motherboard and everything's hooked into us, feeding us the information. We're dwelling inside this.
I see what you're saying.
Kind of like the Matrix in a way. I almost feel like the Matrix totally was like, oh, like the Wachowski at the time brothers. Now they're sisters. That's a whole nother topic. Good filmmakers, though, those ladies.
And gentlemen.
Whatever you prefer. I'm not going to assume your gender. But maybe they read that, and that's where they got it from. Because this is like something this is like a philosophical question that has been talked about for quite some time, I guess. But kind of like that. That's what kind of sparked that in me. I was like, that's kind of interesting, and I kind of went from there with this little like idea of maybe this is what happens. But you wake up in like a familiar place, and you're just like, oh, this is it. This is what, not necessarily as a brain in a vat, but like as whatever, you know, you are. in that other plane of existence. Like this is just kind of like.
What about that?
Kind of like Total Recall.
What do you think about that thought?
But I don't necessarily think that's what happens when you die. I just think that's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't know what happens when you die. Like I said, the first thing, I'll be the first person to tell you that I don't fucking know, but I'm really fucking interested. And I kind of tend not to believe that everything goes black and you don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like
I can't. Yeah, I can't bring myself to believe that either.
I mean, that makes. That just doesn't. That doesn't seem to add up to me.
Right, and I don't know what the reason is that we're all here. But I have to think that there's a reason.
There is a reason.
No, I have to think that there's a reason why we're here, and we just don't
there's probably
know
a reason why, but I don't know if there's like some weird meaning behind it, and we all have this purpose. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's a thought that I've had before.
I don't know.
Where, like...
Maybe we do.
Think about it like this. A child's science experiment. Okay, for school or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he takes a potato or he takes whatever and he puts the little toothpicks in it and he sets it in the cup of water and then he watches it basically evolve into
to grow more potatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
survival.
What if we're like not necessarily the potato, but what if we're like God's whatever experiment? And that's what started all this. Because, and okay, let me go back for a second. Because, okay, let's take Walter, for example.
Oh, I like Walter. Don't take him.
So, Walter has the pug nose, right? So, in all those little crevices and creases in his nose, there's, slobber or whatever from his tongue going...
No, there's not.
Or, but there's little bits of bacteria.
Yeah, there probably is.
Which we already know bacteria is alive. So on his nose, in that wrinkle, could be a whole reality.
Whole world of bacteria.
A whole world of bacteria, which...
There's living creatures in there, man.
Right. So it's its own reality living on his nose. Does that... I know it probably doesn't make much sense.
It's like that movie, Osmosis Jones. That cartoon movie with Chris Rock, and I think Bill Murray was in it and shit. And it was essentially the movie like kind of starts out you're zooming into like a human. I think it might have been Bill Murray you were zooming into. You were inside Bill Murray's body, but like all the different like tiny organisms and shit that make up his systems and all the things that do it were like a city in there, and you were seeing it all in a cartoon version.
Right.
Of his insides and stuff while he's sick, and like they were trying to fight his sickness inside of that. That's a really cool movie.
Well, no, and you're right on with what I'm talking about. So let's look at another example. So right on the tip of my finger, in a very tiny microscopic spot, there's bacteria living on my finger.
In one pore of your skin, there is a whole world.
Exactly.
A whole city.
An entire world. An entire whatever. So essentially, I am actually God to that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blows your fucking mind to think about.
No, that's crazy. Like that's
just breaking it down to something molecular, being on the tip of your finger, and now all of a sudden you're God. And you know what? Watch this. I just destroyed that whole entire.
But but even the time it took you to go from watch this to that,
could have been a billion years.
That was a billion years.
For that,
because on that tiny a level, everything is the physics is so fucking different. You know what I mean?
Right. And that,
like for an ant, they can go upside down.
And
around,
that was like the equivalent of that meteor that fell on Earth and just wiped out all the dinosaurs.
No, your finger was the meteor falling to my table.
Actually, your table was the meteor. And they met.
I guess it's all how you look at it.
Yeah.
But no, that is crazy.
Because my glass is half full.
Like I was thinking of like all those intense moments, like those near-death experiences where like where your adrenaline's pumping and like it feels like every little tiny particle of your body is just scrambling for survival. You know what I mean? Like you feel a tingling all over the place.
I've had a lot of hungover
it's
mornings
like
when I feel
every
like that.
tiny little particle, every like atomic piece of you is fighting for survival. It goes into fucking panic mode right there.
Yeah.
That's why you feel it like all over. Like I don't know if that's true, but that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Like it's when you look at this stuff, it gives a whole new meaning to what you are and who you are and shit. Like when you smoke weed and you get high and just feel it all over. That's like every little piece of you being high and just chilled out and feeling. You know what I mean? Like
It's like summertime for that.
when you're drinking, your whole fucking like every part of your being is just like woo party. Like that's why you feel so good and crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. There's chemicals releasing it and stuff. Like there's way more to it than that. But like that's kind of the way I see it. It's weird.
No,
And I feel like we're all kind of like that. All kind of goes along with that idea of we're all kind of God and one with every like. Partically, we're all atoms and quarks and shit. You know what I mean? We just vibrate at different frequencies to create these different atomic masses. I
agree with you, and I think that you're explaining the same thing I am, just in a different way, in a bigger word sort of way, where I'm kind of saying the same thing. Like
no, I am. I'm definitely saying the same thing. Like I'm applying it to more of like a scientific way of looking at it.
Right.
But still staying in that weird spiritual,
just like they say,
philosophical.
Just
thing.
like they say that, you know. Oh God, I just drew a blank. The universe is ever expanding.
Yeah.
Think about it as like
your particles, your pieces of your being are constantly progressing.
Right. Like we might be actually, you know,
like
just,
maybe the universe expanding is us growing.
Maybe.
We are in a human being that our universe is a child that is growing, and the end is the death of their life.
That's kind of what I'm talking about.
This shit is crazy. We're having such a fucking stoner talk here, but only one of us is a stoner.
But like,
I guess we'll get into that.
But to say that, like the universe being ever expanding and infinite, and how, you know, there's constantly. Okay. Shake my hand. So your universe just met my universe, and my universe right now is going, what in the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Because the molecule or the universe that's on your hand or in your fingertips or whatever,
just parallel mine.
Maybe more advanced than the ones on mine. So mine seeing yours as some sort of alien.
Because you're older, so this is a good example.
Okay, so it's seeing yours or your universe seeing my universe and going, wait a minute, what the fuck is that?
They're getting a glimpse into future stages of evolution.
Right. And then we let go, and all of a sudden, it's gone.
But you can't undo that.
And somebody right now is on your hand, somebody going, I think I just saw an alien. I think I just saw a UFO.
Or even if it was like a mass thing where like, from here on out, that world is forever changed.
That world is forever changed.
That world will never be the same.
Yeah, and it's like another dimension. This dimension just crossed over into that dimension, and now Mandela is still alive.
Well, I mean, obviously, if worlds are colliding, if parallel worlds are colliding there for a second, or coming together for that brief moment in time and then going back to whatever, something changed there. There was a shift in the mechanics, the quantum mechanics there. You know what I mean? Something happened that changed for a brief second. Obviously, it was like a glitch. Boom! All of a sudden, these two parallel worlds are together as one, and then boom, they're not anymore. Obviously, there was a glitch in the matrix there somehow, or it was done on purpose.
My aliens just invaded your planet.
that sounds a little gay.
Pervert. I was going to say that sounds a little perverted.
But no, I see what you're saying. And once shit like that happens, you can't undo it, and that world's forever fucking changed. Again, I do not know how we got from where we were to here, but that was an interesting conversation.
I don't know either, but I'm glad we did because I love talking about that kind of stuff.
Just so I'm not a liar, I did look up what the ether means, and it means most of the time in real life it's applied to the area in space and where like all the radio waves and stuff go, like where all the lost signals and shit.
Right.
It's all up there in the ether where all this stuff is like passing by and like radio signals and cell phone signals and shit like that. That's the ether.
I just had another thought because you brought that up, like out in space. So,
well, it's kind of like not really. It's like the space between space and Earth. It's atmosphere.
When a rocket is launched out into space from this universe on my finger, where's that rocket actually going? Because if it launches up off of my finger,
this is a hypothetical universe.
If that rocket launches up off of my finger and it doesn't get back to my finger before I leave here, where the fuck is it going to go?
Well, think about it, dude. If it's that fucking small, if the universe is that fucking small, I'm sure, like, do you think we have rockets that go outside our universe? Do you think we've shot a rocket so fucking far that it went outside of our universe and then was eventually going to come back down?
No. But.
All right, so you think that's going to fucking happen there?
But, let me finish. But.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know the exact word for it, but
this is a weird-ass conversation, man.
But I know that
this is like some Horton Hears a Who bullshit.
When we touch each other, we're not actually making contact, even though it feels like it, because we have receptors on
there's
the ends.
like static electricity and shit going in between. We're kind of just...
So we're never actually touching. But, so what if, in between all of those individual little receptors on the end of my finger, if that is one universe, that's a universe, that's a universe, that's a universe, and there's space in between all of that. So that rocket that launched from here and is now here in between is still on my body because that infinite space in between is still part of my body. You ready?
Dude, we gotta get out this shit. That's
some cool shit.
That's cool, but I could
gonna
barely
email
wrap my head
Neil
around
Tyson on that one.
That's fucking highly unlikely, but maybe.
But cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get off that. This shit is. I don't even know where we are at this point. I don't even. Where did we go? Who are you? What is this place? That's how I feel right now. I don't know. I don't even know what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Luckily, I get to edit it.
Right.
Maybe it'll all make sense when I listen to it through the second time.
Right.
It didn't.
Right.
Maybe it just needs to sink in.
Or maybe it's like the one time, twice, that I actually did get high and I felt like time stopped and I had no idea what the hell happened and I thought I was dying because I was literally just laying there and couldn't move.
Those are some stories for another time, sir. Maybe next time. I'll actually write that down. Jay's getting high stories.
Oh, man.
Right now. Jay's getting high stories, plural.
I'm not sure how I can make it very interesting.
See, people, I wrote it down.
I'm not sure how I can make it very interesting, but I will say that I thought I was dying.
All right, well, look forward to that on the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go, I'd like to announce, I guess. I thought about not doing it, but
we got surprises.
We're going to launch a Patreon account pretty soon, especially with all the YouTube stuff going on. Not that we really get any YouTube money anyway. we don't actually, and but a lot of this stuff, it's quite costly to do this sort of thing and time consuming, and in order to do more of it and make it create better content, more watchable content, it takes a lot of time and money. So we're going to launch a Patreon account. It's not up yet. Figuring some things out. I don't know if you know anything about Patreon, but essentially it's a way for the people who like what we do to help support us and do what we do, and us to reward them even in return with all kinds of things for their support and help. We give back to them, so it's a win-win situation for everyone. They get to see the thing, they get to support the things that they like and want to see more of, and we get to make it better for them and continue to make it. That's basically what Patreon's for. The launch date is to be determined as of right now. Trying to figure out the way we're going to go about doing things. If you want to read up more about Patreon, just see more of what we're talking about and how maybe if you'd like to get involved, you can go to patreon.com and read up on it, or just Google Patreon. It's actually a very cool company and website, and they're very... It's just... Look forward to that. It's cool.
It's a cool way to give you guys really cool stuff in return for your help, so that we can keep doing this because it's something we really enjoy.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're supporting us, you really enjoy it too.
Right.
You enjoy it enough to want to see more and make it easier to see more. And who's Seymour? Anyway,
I don't know. Seymour Krellborn?
There'll be multiple options and benefits. Multiple ways for you to support. We're not asking for a lot. Or if you'd like to help more than the average bear, that option's available. And pretty much the more you help, the more we'll give back. You know what I mean? That's basically what it's for.
Yeah, the more cool stuff we're going to give you.
Well, not necessarily give you, but like services will provide you exclusive content that only people who support us know.
Services.
Well, if that ends up being one of the benefits, it's going to be a costly benefit. But
do I hear $5 over here?
All our current content that you know and love will be free, and will still be free on YouTube, and more and upcoming content. But like I said, for our patrons, the people who help support us, they will get that and more things only they will get.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of all different variations, whether it comes to video or actual physical content, like in the mail, T-shirts, perhaps, any cool product we may put out, merch and whatnot. Like, you'll see. It's very cool, and we're pretty excited about launching it. And we'll keep you updated, because it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be very...
Yeah, I agree.
Beneficial for everyone. Yeah, we appreciate the support, and this is our way of showing you, I suppose. More info to come, and thanks for watching Jay and Mark episode number 38. It's a very random, strange episode, I'm sure, but
hopefully it makes sense.
That's Jay and Mark. Yeah. Yeah, I guess until next time, I am Mark, and this is Jay.
That's correct.
Have a good one. Poops.